what a time we had at the Empower Me Wellness Retreat last year. It was an amazing experience for all who encountered it. It's about that time though. Let's get ready for 2025 Empower Me Wellness Retreat Daycation. Meet us, San Marcos, Texas. Registration is open September 19th. 2025's retreat will be a full day packed with wellness sessions, lunch, amazing fellowship, and lots of surprises. We strongly encourage those who plan to come to make a weekend out of it. Get your hotel room, consider a spa day, find a local walking trail, or just stay in your room, rest, and journal. Now that registration is open, grab your mother-daughter friends, grab your girlfriends, or make a solo trip and meet us there to relax, relate, and revive. Don't forget CamillaAntoine.com/retreat.
The first person to say, I love you. You know what popped in my mind? I don't know if you watch Love is Blind. Do you watch that?
Yes, I love that show.
I feel like I'm fake a little bit because, like, I am not 20 hours like, oh, you know what? I love you. I think I could be on a show.
You think it's fake?
It might not be fake, but it's just like it seems too quick to be really saying, hey, I love you to somebody. It's like, hey, I like you. Because when they go out and they go on their little honeymoon, then you see like, okay, well, they don't really know you. So
True.
it's tested at that point, and some people make it to marriage, but I don't know. It's just like within a couple days. You think you love somebody in a couple days?
I've heard people like going on like one date and getting married. You know what I'm saying? Like I've seen, heard stories of quick love, right? So I don't know.
Is it quick love or quick commitment that leads to it?
Sure.
To say, hey, we're two people in the right spot. To say, hey, we want this long-term relationship and we're going to commit to it.
Yeah.
But is it like, I just love this person, or it's like, hey, I'm committed to this relationship.
Yeah.
I'm struggling with that. So that was a question.
Yeah, I don't know. That's a good question. But I think, love is different for everybody. It's defined differently for everybody, right? And as you said, like, which we'll go into, it was modeled differently for different people. So, like, maybe they can fall in love through a wall and...
You wait for the next season to drop.
Listen, I love Love is Blind. But, who knows? To each his own. But I get what you're saying. Like for me to even, say love, like it's gotta be more than a feeling, right? Like, cause I think in my first, one of my first relationships, that was what all it was. It was just like, he said it first and it was more like, okay, well, sure. I love you too. Cause I didn't want to leave him hanging. Right. So
yeah.
It's like, can't leave him out here looking dumb. So sure, babe, I love you too. But
did you feel it?
Later on, like it eventually, it grew to it. Right. Like, I mean, now in hindsight, of course, I shouldn't say it if I don't mean it, but I was a kid, right? I was only 17, 18 years old, so.
I was in the same boat. It's like we marry each other. Yeah, I was in the same boat. He would ask me, do you love me yet? And I'd be like, no. I don't.
Now, that would have turned me off. I'm like, get out
you
here.
just kept saying it. Like, I was 17, 18 years old too, girl. Like, no. How am I supposed to know?
Yeah.
And then we went apart, and I was just like, I was so sad, and I was like, well, maybe I do love him because I feel so sad. But hindsight, I don't know what that was. That was probably that first love that you was talking about, like eyes all
familiar too, right? Like that was someone you were talking to, so now it's like, what's filling that void? So it doesn't mean it was love. And I always said that too, like when I meet guys, when I date them and then we break up, I'm just like, was it lust? It could have been lust.
It could have been.
You know what I mean? And that's very similar to love, you know?
Or a project. Sometimes people get so bored, like, hey, it's something to do, somebody to spend time with.
You've had a few projects?
I'm not saying that. So, moving on.
You got a few projects?
I'm not a project manager.
Have I had a project?
I define a project as something that's a distraction from what you're doing. And sometimes people use other people to distract them from things. Or you kind of put your all into this, try to build this person up or whatever the case may be. That's how I kind of defined it. So
are you going to answer my question? Have you had a project?
I mean, I could have. Possibly. We're going to leave that vague.
Oh, okay. I guess. Sorry. I thought she was going to be more honest on season 2, y'all.
Honesty. Yeah. Yeah, I'm honest. For sure.
But you know what, another thing that I've heard a lot, not a lot, I don't want to make it sound like I've been in a lot of relationships, but a common thing I've heard too is that like the guy will say like, I love you more than you love me. And I think
that's manipulative.
I
feel like, why are you saying that?
Yeah, and I've always been like, I don't think that's true. Or, you know, I'd be like, you just show it differently, right? And I'm big on like, okay, so if we're going into love languages, because you said yours is quality time, right? So what do we have? Quality time, acts of service, gift giving, words of affirmation. Come on. See, I always forget one.
Now you maybe physical touch.
Physical touch. Okay. Ooh, there we go. We're gonna let her go. So, physical touch. Okay. So for me, mine is definitely acts of service. Like I'm big on it. Like with my friends, family, everybody knows that about me. And so, like you said, like if somebody doesn't understand your love language and they're just giving and giving without even, you know, asking you or saying, you know, getting, I don't want to say feedback, but you know, just whatever, then it's never going to work. Like you're going to be trapped in a relationship where you're not happy. But again, you also have to be vocal and communicate like, hey, you know, this is what I like and what I prefer. So I think a lot of my relationships I've been in kind of like yours, to be honest, like them giving a different kind of love language than I was wanting to receive. And because they were giving me so much of that, like either so much in gifts or so much in words of affirmation that they lacked in the other area. So they thought they were doing a good job. And I'm just like, are you? And so that was where we butted heads. Right? Yeah. So I'm sure I could have communicated better, but
that's lessons, right? You only learn that hindsight. I feel the same way. I do feel that everybody has a percentage of all love languages, because no one's gonna say no. I don't want no gift ever. Like it feels good, right? But I think that what really speaks to your heart, and I feel like we can get into that now. Like what was modeled to you. So how was love shown to you as you were growing up? Like how did your parents show that?
Putting a roof over my head, providing. So what is that?
Sound like a black household.
Right, look, I'm putting a roof over your head, right?
You got a place to sleep, right?
Right.
You know I love you.
So is that an act of service? I guess. I would have to say yeah, because I didn't get a lot of, and both on my mom and my dad's side, it wasn't like they didn't have to say I love you all the time. They showed it by the things that they did for us, showing up, like, you know, showing up to dance recitals, showing up to school conferences, things like that. Like I think I said in a previous episode, like my you know, one of my parents didn't start saying I love you till I said, do you know, like, you don't say it as much, like, do you know you don't say it to me all the time? And then they were basically like, I didn't know you needed that, and now I get that from them. And so again, that's that communication
I was just about to say that. That was a great example of communication right there. You just gotta say it, because they don't know. You don't know what you don't know, right? And you could probably be like, hey, I'm killing it, and in reality you're not, because they're not receiving it that way.
And I mean, you know what, in hindsight, like if I'm looking at other relationships, maybe I didn't love them the way they wanted to be loved, because I honestly, if I'm like, I do a lot for my people, right? So I'm like, they better, you know, be grateful, but maybe that's not
how they receive it. I think that has to be an open communication.
For sure. So what about for you? How was my love model for you?
Well, that's a great question. It wasn't really modeled for me. I think that I seen love as a deficit within the people that were around me. It's like this thing that they were already always chasing. Even to this day, it's like, oh, I'm just looking for love, or I just want this thing. But it's like, what is that? How do you know how you feel that? And so, like, it was almost used to, and this is no dig towards my family, my mom, or anything like that, but it was used to kind of control me in a way. Like, if you don't do this, then you don't love me. So it always left me confused of the only way to love someone is to not show up for myself and to give to them only. So that when I got in relationships, I guess I did have a lot of projects when I think about it like that. It's to self-sacrifice, right? I can never have a voice in a relationship. I can never show up in a relationship, but this is what was modeled to me, so I thought this was normal, and I was losing myself time and time again in every relationship because that's what I had growing up. So
that makes sense.
That's probably you know, that's the only thing I got right there. It wasn't modeled in a way that I would know when it felt good, because I didn't know what that was like even as a child. So that felt deep.
I know. I'm like, there's so many ways I can go with that, but so is that was far as like the family wise, right? As far as love, but what about like what was modeled to you in forms of healthy like relationships and love in that type, the romantic eros?
Well, I want to say one more thing too, because I think I gave a specific. Hey, I feel like, hey, if you don't do this, you don't love me, right? I did hear that a lot. I didn't hear like, you know, I love you as often. We were an affectionate family, but in some other aspects, like, you know, maybe my aunts would give me gifts and stuff like that, and that's how they showed up, or allow me to stay with them, and that's how that showed up. You know, once you get my book, Memoir of a Burning Child, you'll have more.
Come on and plug it. Come on and plug it.
You'll have more details of what I'm talking about.
It's coming soon.
Yes, coming soon to Amazon near you. No, just kidding. But I think it just left me in this void. It was just a void. So when I got into a relationship, you said how was it modeled to me? That's deep. How was it modeled to me in a healthy way?
Because even now I'm like, damn, I got into a relationship, but how did I know my role in that relationship? How did I know how to love this man? Even like, like how old were you when you got into like your first serious relationship? 17, 18?
18, yeah.
Yeah. So it's like, did you just jump into it and thought it would come naturally? Right?
I think so. I think I was naive at 18, like most 18-year-olds. Like, yeah, I got this. How hard can this be? You know, which allowed me to be very naive in the relationship, and dating someone that's older. I think that he kind of took advantage of that, my innocence in a way. Not like he took advantage of my innocence. Let me me being naive, me being young, you know. Yeah, for sure. And so I think that I just, again, allowed him to do what he wanted to do. And my idea was, all right, still support, still show up, regardless, because I didn't know how to show up for myself, because I never had that. You know, I was like a little whisper in the background of every relationship I'm in. So it's like, how do you become the main character in somebody else's life, or not even somebody else's life, but life that you're sharing with somebody? How do you become a main character as well when you allow them to have the space to do whatever they want to do? Yeah. And you always supporting.
That's so weird. Like, my first love was like an older guy too. So, girl, get out my life. But I feel like I was more like a follower in that relationship, right? Like, because I didn't know, and I wasn't like, you know how people are like, oh, my parents were together forever. I was, you know, I only believe in, you know, staying with one person. I didn't have that mindset. I was, you know, just happy to be in a relationship. I was young, free. He was like the bad boy, the hood guy, and you know, I just loved based on what he told me, because if it wasn't right, like, he would tell me like, that's not like things you do. I'm like, okay, right? Girl,
yes
yeah. So it wasn't like there was no like the person I am today, like I think I mentioned the coffee shop girl where you have coffee with your younger self. She'd be like, girl, get your dumb ass on. Like, it was just so like, looking back, it was just so just like almost that puppy love, right? That, you know, I'm young, sure, whatever you say goes.
That's the same thing, even down to I don't know if we was gonna talk about relationships in detail or not, but it was one of the things he said. I had like male friends, and he was like, do you know men and women are not allowed to be friends? Like, you shouldn't have no male friends. And I'm like, okay. And he went through my phone and texted every man in my phone and said, don't text her no more. And I'm just sitting here like, oh, okay, well, maybe he got a point. I don't know.
And that means he loves me. He just wants me.
No, that was the beginning of a controlling relationship.
The beginning.
Yeah, and I didn't realize that at that time. So those little red flags that you kind of like bypass, ignore, because you just don't know. And also I was chasing something that was different. Like, oh, I'm gonna be different than how I seen other women be, and ended up being the same. Like, I think we talked about in our one episode when we talked about femininity. Oop, hopefully I said it right. Like, some of the things I should have got from my mom. Like, I shouldn't have shied away from everything, because she was right on like, hey, some ways you need to be with men, and when you running from that, you kind of show up a different way and being taken advantage of, but not in that way.
Yeah. And my mom is very much like when she was married, and her husband passed away in 2007. God rest his soul. But when she was married, she was very much like, the stay-at-home mom. She was like the caretaker. She cooked and everything. So I saw that. I don't know if I was like excited to conform to that when I got into a relationship. But I also, like, once I got out of that relationship and my second relationship, the one thing I will say that he taught me was that, like, love was more than just, because I thought love was like, oh, I didn't cheat, so yeah, that means I love you. Like, I haven't talked to anybody, and he was like, girl, what? He's like, love is like way more than that. Like, yeah, that's nice that you haven't cheated, but there's so much more to it. And that was like, right? Because I'm like, I'm the perfect girlfriend. Your pardon? Yeah. I'm like, I'm the perfect girlfriend. But then, like, when we, that was one good thing he taught me, like, that there's more as far as, like, going into the love languages, showing up, or even just communication, do whatever it is. I can't think of everything right now, but whatever, right? You get my point. So that was, something that he taught me. So that in my first, again, going back to my first one, I'm just like, I was really such a follower, and I just like, I couldn't imagine being that now. So yeah.
What a time we had at the Empower Me Wellness Retreat last year. It was an amazing experience for all who encountered it. It's about that time though. Let's get ready for 2025 Empower Me Wellness Retreat Daycation. Meet us, San Marcos, Texas. Registration is open September 19th. 2025's retreat will be a full day packed with wellness sessions, lunch, amazing fellowship, and lots of surprises. We strongly encourage those who plan to come to make a weekend out of it. Get your hotel room, consider a spa day, find a local walking trail, or just stay in your room, rest, and journal. Now that registration is open, grab your mother-daughter friends, grab your girlfriends, or make a solo trip and meet us there to relax, relate, and revive. Don't forget CamillaAntoine.com/retreat.
What's up, y'all? This your girl Shay and Franny, and we back with season 2 of Minus the Blueprint. We've been going for a few weeks now, trying to get things together. So, how has it been for you these last few weeks? What you been up to?
Same as always, working, but a little rest and relaxation. Not having to shoot the episodes and everything. We did an early celebration for Shay because her birthday's coming up. Yes. Team Taurus.
For sure. She meant that with her heart.
With my whole heart. If I didn't have the wine in my hand, I would do the little heart shape. But no, just been working, getting the kid together, and trying to enjoy my freedom until I lock down a little bit more into work and these episodes. So what's been up with you? How have you been?
Life has been lifing these last few weeks. Just trying to get through that. My whole life pretty much was turned upside down. Family-wise, health-wise, not for myself, but for my family. So just trying to navigate this new norm. And, just taking a step back from, like, recording and hoping to come back with, some good episodes. So that's what I've been kind of focused on, the business and all of that.
Good. And we definitely got some good feedback from season 1. So we're really excited to start this new season with you all. And hopefully you enjoy all the content that we're going to be bringing. And as usual, we are on all social media platforms, sponsored by Tan TV. So definitely check us out. And we'll be, we're back airing again every Monday, 9 p.m. Eastern.
8 p.m. Central? Is it Central? Yeah, Tan TV. Check that out. Also, definitely engage with our social media. We're going to definitely make a more social media presence than we have before. So just check us out.
Yeah. So what is today's topic, Shay? What are we bringing back season 2 with?
We're going to talk about love, you know? I think in season 1, we talked about a lot of different things. We really never got into love.
To tell you.
It
made me think of Keisha Cole because that's one of my favorite songs.
You went to Keisha Cole. I went to Mary. Like, Real Love.
Yeah. What song from Mary?
Real Love. Like.
Oh, okay. Why are you looking at me like that?
You should. We just went to go see her.
Okay, but Keisha Cole's coming up, so that's why I was kind of. She's been back in like the media.
Oh, coming up. I thought you meant her concert was
No, she does have a concert coming up.
In Detroit?
Yeah. She'll be here in like June or July.
Okay, we gotta let's talk after this.
I was gonna drop a note, but my throat's a little dry, so I'll bless y'all another time. But anyways, okay, so love. I think that is such a like we could be here for hours talking about it. There's so many things that we can cover with that. But I think starting off just defining love, and I know there's a few different types. For me, I would go the angle of the loves that are mentioned in the Bible. And so
I like that.
Yeah. So the first love I ever learned about, even just like the first thing that I learned about in the Bible was agape love, right? So that unconditional, consistent, unwavering love that God wants us to have for everybody. I don't know if it's attainable because there's so much that that's involved with like relationships with everyone in your life, right? Like, so to be able to say, yeah, I'm going to love you with no conditions. I'll love you in spite of. I'll love you, in spite of your nasty attitude or when you're down, when you're sick. You know what I'm saying? So I know for me, I haven't, as far as like romantically, reached that kind of love. For my son, yes.
Yeah.
Right? Of course for, God and everything. But I don't know what's your take on agape love.
When I learned about agape love in church, we kind of learned about it as a spiritual gift as well. So I think in the spirit, like in our flesh, I do feel as if we will always, I'm not gonna say always fall short, but it's more likely that we'll fall short because we look at conditions regardless of anything. If someone does something to you, it's going to change how you feel because we are deeply involved in our feelings. But I think when you look at it on a spiritual standpoint and you operate in that, it kind of like you might forgive a little quicker. Because I remember when I was learning about it, I was kind of going through it in my relationship, and I'm like, is that why I'm stuck? It's because I got the spirit of love, and I don't want this. I don't want this gift, I want to be able to move on. So that's my take on agape love. I think that even with my kids, like I love them to death. Do I like them all the time? Sometimes they do some things, but I'm still going to show up. I'm still going to be supportive. I'm still going to, be there. So I do get that part of it. And I see, like, as I'm reading the Bible now, I'm reading it from the beginning to the end. I see how God has continuously showed up despite us as people, because we had like they failed so many times, he still showed up even when he was like, all right, you know what, I'm gonna destroy him. Like, no, I'm gonna give him another pass. John
3:16, like my favorite Bible verse, right? For God so loved the world. Like, just imagine giving your only son for humanity, right? And like just the torture. Every time I think, and Passion of Christ is one of my favorite movies. I know that it's all not like accurate depiction, but like I can't watch that movie without crying. And so just to think, like, could I give my son up for, you know what I mean? Like, could I sacrifice my son for whatever? Like, no, absolutely not.
So greater purpose.
But I definitely think agape love has to be the foundation of like the other types of love out there, right? So there's also filio. Did I say it right?
Or philia. Hey, if y'all know, if we're saying it wrong, please pronounce it in the comments.
But you know what I'm saying, right? The friendship kind of love, and then there's eros, right? And so I think agape love has to be the foundation of that, right? Like, I want to love my friends without conditions. I want to love my family and, parents and siblings and all that without conditions. So I think that's where it starts, and then you kind of have to build on that.
But I also think about, what does that actually mean? We're talking about love in general, just like, okay, are we talking about a feeling or the simple fact that despite how you treated me, I still show up? Because I kind of, I'm kind of being challenged in that way, having to put my feelings aside, especially with everything I'm going through, to still just show up and be supportive and be there. So it's really like, I think when you put it in that perspective of what does it really mean as an action word, are you still going to show up despite, like whatever you're going through with your family or your friends, if they're really good to you? I mean, obviously that's where the condition comes through, I guess, because if you have someone who's just like taking advantage of you, treating you terrible, would you still want to show up in their need?
Exactly. I think that's what it is. I think in spite of, like you just said, like I think a couple weeks ago I was talking to you and I wanted to reach out to someone. I was like, oh, but I don't want to because I don't want to be the first one. And then, you know, you encouraged me to, and it was just like this feeling. I felt like God was putting it on my heart to reach out to this person. And then I did it, right? And then it just like, I felt a little freer, like even just to say, hey, like, it's, you know, I always love you no matter what.
No matter what.
And man, that ego was like boom, 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 boom. But I was still like, let me just do it.
Oh,
so,
like,
yeah, so like I appreciate that encouragement. But yeah, no, definitely like I want somebody to love me in spite of like, yeah, like show up when you're feeling, you know, when I'm giving you gifts, or show up when it's easy to love me.
Yeah.
But I need it more when I'm not easy to love, when I'm like thinking crazy thoughts or being unrealistic or illogical or, you know, looking, you know, haven't showered in 3 days. I always shower. But I'm just saying, right? Like, love me when it's hard to, because it's not, like, I just don't think love is easy. And I actually had an ex tell me, like, and this is, I think we were going through, like, a rough period, and he was just like, love's not supposed to be this hard. And I'm just like, it's not?
Oh, I had someone tell me that, too.
Did
you? And it
you?
had me confused, too. Like, okay, but isn't love just showing up?
Mm-hmm. So my response was like, and then, but I took that, like I internalized, and I was like, okay, well, it's me. Maybe you're right. Like, I'm the one that's making it hard, and you're right. Maybe this isn't love.
To that.
I saw you take a sip. So, yeah. So I think, you know, is love supposed to be easy? Is it supposed to be a cakewalk?
No, I don't think so. I think I go back to, like, even raising kids. Like, they will challenge you. They will challenge you, but you still going to show up. So I don't think that it's easy, but I think that your commitment to that person, your commitment to their growth, your commitment to stand in relationship with that person is what is the whole foundation part of it. It's not, I don't think it's anything in life has taught me that it's not easy. Nothing in life is. So it's how you show up.
Yeah. I don't think I like that word easy. So
Nah.
we'll just throw him away as we did. Just joking. But okay. So yeah, so we covered agape love,
Feel you. Brotherly love.
and eros love, which is like the romantic type of love. So which ones, well, we know you have experienced the P word love and and the
So the eros love, I don't think we kind of really got into that. I think with that, I struggle with that a little bit because you know, when you're outside of the relationship, it's like, did I really love them, or was I just there? You know, do I even know what love is? That's what I kind of struggle with. I think that whole thing of when someone say, hey, this should be easy, you start questioning yourself, like, what is wrong? So it made me think that, am I lovable? You know, am I the problem?
yeah.
No.
Taurus energy. Yeah.
It's not me. It can never be. No. But it had me thinking really about my childhood and how love was demonstrated. But before we get into that, I want to give you a chance to say, what do you think about eros love and your relationships? Have you felt like you were in love, or did you just love them? Like, hey, you know, I care about them, but am I in love? And I think it's a difference between the two.
Oh yeah, for sure. And I think like I'm still defining that, like in my 30s, right? Like I'm still figuring that out, because like you said, once you're outside of the relationship, you're like, damn, I was that naive, like A, B, C. Like you don't realize it until you're outside of it, right? And so I hear it all the time, like that you're allowed 3 loves in your lifetime. Have you ever heard that?
I have not.
Okay. Now, I don't know if I agree with it, but it's kind of suitable. So the first one is like when you're really young. It's like that firecracker love. Like you feel the butterflies. Like it's, you know, they're showing you the world, right? And then it fades out, right? It's probably like that young, like bad boy kind of love, right? Like you think you're on top of the world. So I've had that.
That puppy love. That
yeah.
Just like, oh,
Puppy
eyes
love.
wide open.
So that was, I definitely have had that. So that was like a 7-year relationship. And then the second one is the one that teaches you about love, like the one that shows you what you do and don't want from love. And so it could either be like short-lived, long-lived, whatever. And that's your second one. And then the third one is the one that like comes out of nowhere, creeps up behind you. You weren't expecting it. And it really shows you what like true love is.
Oh, okay.
So it's probably like your last love they're referring to.
I agree with that. I get, well, as you were talking, I was piecing it together. Like, okay, so the third one just hasn't showed up yet. That's why I couldn't see all 3 yet, because I'm waiting. I'm waiting for that third one to come on. Okay.
And so I say that to say, like, have I been in love? I don't know, because maybe I haven't experienced, the first or second one. Well, the first one, yeah, but the second one, right? Like, I think we can be in relationships, and so many people want to get to that I love you. Like, who's the first to say I love you, right? Like, that's one of the goals when you're in a relationship, and it's just like, maybe it's not, like, and it doesn't have to be. So that could just be a friendship, right?
Yeah.
Forming, and you know. I was gonna say something inappropriate, but I'll let it go. But you know,
kind of feel where you was going with that.
But you could just be in a relationship, and it doesn't have to turn into love, and that's where it's like, how is love defined for you?
Yeah,
right.
For sure.
And so, also the second one is like your heartbreak one too, right? Like the one that broke you. And I remember, oh Lord, and I think I've had that one, but I probably have had it a couple times, only because like I'm a sensitive lover, like I love hard, but I think a couple of them I could define as like my second love, right? Like, because those are the ones that taught me like what I do and don't want from love, as far as like, okay, I need someone that's attentive. I need someone that's, going to show up, someone that's going to be consistent with communication, things like that, right? So
yeah, I think I have learned those lessons, but it really, because I think when you get in a relationship with someone, you got to really define what your needs are. So at therapy, we talked a lot about that, and I'm like, I don't know what I need. And then you kind of bring somebody into that, and they're not fulfilling that, so you constantly in battle with them, because they don't know what you need, and they don't know how to provide it to you, because maybe it's the way that you love. And if you don't, if you're not familiar with that, it's like they're in a losing battle right there too. And also you're in a losing battle, because you're like, why? I'm doing X, Y, and Z, and it's not portrayed to me as love. Like, I was in a relationship for a while, and one of the things that he liked to do is he liked to give gifts. And I was like, okay, cool. That's nice. But I like quality time. And it was just like a mismatch. But he's like, you don't see what I'm doing. But I don't feel it, because you're not doing what I need, you know, or what I want. But I didn't articulate that either. So we kind of was just like bumping heads constantly. Yeah.
What a time we had at the Empower Me Wellness Retreat last year. It was an amazing experience for all who encountered it. It's about that time though. Let's get ready for 2025 Empower Me Wellness Retreat Daycation. Meet us, San Marcos, Texas. Registration is open September 19th. 2025's retreat will be a full day packed with wellness sessions, lunch, amazing fellowship, and lots of surprises. We strongly encourage those who plan to come to make a weekend out of it. Get your hotel room, consider a spa day, find a local walking trail, or just stay in your room, rest, and journal. Now that registration is open, grab your mother-daughter friends, grab your girlfriends, or make a solo trip and meet us there to relax, relate, and revive. Don't forget CamillaAntoine.com/retreat.
In relationships, for the most part, I feel like I said before, I lost myself, or even any version of myself, just to help somebody else. I think my last relationship really was a point within myself. I was like, okay, let me take a step back, because you're failing at this thing. Allergies season. The weather is terrible here right now. It's like my throat. It's my throat. But it was like, okay, let me take a step back. Let me regroup, because something is not going right. If I am failing at this thing, these relationships, maybe it's me. And so that is really what drove me to therapy the first time, because I needed to unearth what is going on within myself that is allowing me to either show up like this and not give to myself, or fail at these relationships. What am I doing wrong, right? Which led me to my therapist asked, like, what are your needs in a relationship? And I was like, what do you mean? What do you mean, what are my needs? You know, for my life, it was, what do everybody else need? Yeah. And that's how I show up. But when you're always depleted and you don't know how to even articulate what it is that you need, you're going to take anything that somebody gives you and say that's enough when it's never enough, and you're suffering in silence because you want to be connected with a person. So took some time back, had to figure that out, still figuring that out, but I'm in a much better place now. So hindsight 2020, I think I know what I need now, and I know how I show up, and I know when it doesn't feel right to walk away and not hold on, hoping that somebody would change or something would change.
That's a lot. That's years of unwanted lessons. I guess unwanted lessons, you know, or learning the hard way for sure. Because that's something I'm sure a lot of women are, you know, going through or have experienced for sure. And it makes me think of a quote because I love Maya Angelou, and one of my favorite quotes, because she, you know, she was big on love and life lessons. Love liberates. It doesn't hold. That's ego. Like, love liberates. So imagine finding like a love that just frees you and makes you like you can just be yourself. And that's why I said, like, I look back on relationships, I'm like, damn, was I able to, like, was I free? Did I feel that? Right. Of course there was good, you know, good in every relationship, but as a whole, it's like, how did that relationship serve you? How did you serve that relationship? You know,
are y'all the best versions of yourself in that relationship? Right. So that's what I'm kind of looking for. Someone to, you know, help me see the best of me, and I can help them see the best in them, and we're moving towards that goal. So in turns, like everything in turn, how you grew up and things like that, what do you do differently for your son than how you grew up to show him love, and you know how he receives it and things like that?
Come on, hit me with the hard question, Shay.
And understand love.
I'm big on I love you. Like, we probably say I love you a few times a day. You know, hugs all the time, and you know, saying, you know, how can I help you? Like, tell me what I can do to make your day easier. And I'm so intentional about the I love you. We actually got into like probably our biggest, I won't even say it was a big fight, but like it was my first time probably yelling, I'll say second or third time in his whole life yelling at him a couple days ago, because I was like, you know, he's at that age where I'm like, I need you to want more. Like, I need you to get it together. What do you want to do when you graduate high school? Like, let's get this going. Let's get a plan. Let's A, B, and C. And he's so chill and nonchalant. Like, he's just that cool, laid back kid. And I was like, that's not enough.
I think it's boys. I think it's boys.
It's gotta be. Yes. And so, like, I literally, like, just picked him up today because I was like, you got to get out. I'm like, you got to go, like, to your Nana's house. You got to, you know, go to your dad's house, like, somewhere, because I need you to really think about this. Like, maybe I'm making life too comfortable for you. You know what I'm saying? I'm like, maybe, you know, you have it really good at home. And so maybe you're not, that's why there's no urgency in you, right? Yeah. And so, if, you know, of course I felt so bad because I was, you know, obviously, you know, I wasn't going crazy on him, but I like, you know, was yelling. And so, you know, I had texted him like that evening when I took him to my mom's and was like, you know, you good? Like, I love you. And like, we both were like crying on the phone because I was like, I love you. Like, I just want the world for you, but I need you to want it too.
Girl.
It was a lot. So
I felt that because I'm having the same conversation with my son, and I feel like we're running out of time.
Yeah. And your son's older.
Yes,
so, yeah.
He'll be a senior next year. I'm like, what is going on? Like, everything that was going on, like, with my family, I'm like, saying, I need you to step it up. I need you to take ownership, responsibility. So I definitely understand where you're coming from. But he texted me, too. He was just like, you know what? I apologize for everything I've done. I know that you're going through a lot, and I didn't realize the magnitude of it, and I'm going to try. And I was like, I need you to do is have a plan.
Yeah, that's it.
Like, what do you want to do? Because he got his SAT scores back. He didn't want to tell me about it. And that's really what set things off, because he did not score what he wanted to score, but it's like he's trying to hide it. And I'm like, I don't care where the scores were at, because that's room to grow, right? It's not the end yet, but if you hiding it from me and thinking I won't find out, then that's the biggest issue right there, because he'd rather play the game because he know I'm going to tell him, like, all right, you got to study for it. You got to put the time in for it. So I definitely get where you're coming from with that.
Yeah. And one thing you told me too, like, and I don't want to make this about our kids, but like one thing you told me too was like, I feel like we speak different languages at times. I'm like, whose child is this? What do you? So and we still have to talk through this, right? Because I just picked them up before, you know, earlier today, so we haven't had a chance to like process like that whole conversation after he's been gone. But I was like, And I feel like that relates to what we just said about communication. I feel like in relationships I have, like, we speak two different languages, like not understanding each other. Everyone has their own perception. Again, one of my favorite quotes is perception is reality, because we all have different, we're coming in with different views and stuff. So, but that hit me when he said that, and I was like, okay, like maybe, I'm going to listen. Like, I want to listen because I need you. I just need him to be the best human being he can be. Like,
yes.
So yeah, that, having those open conversations with him is how I'm modeling love. I'm hoping that I can be that space for him, that safe space for him, to come back to when he needs it,
Yeah. I think I'm in the same boat when it comes to my children. I definitely, like, well, I said this before. When my son was young, I overly said, hey, I love you. I overly was affectionate with him. He is so affectionate. He just affectionate kid. Like, always had to have hugs. He would say, I love you a million times. My daughter's the same way. But I also asked him, like, how do you know that I love you? Like, what have I done so that you receive that love? And they'll say X, Y, and Z. And one day, I think my daughter had said, well, I don't know. And I was like, well, let's take a step back. How do you receive love? Because I want them to also be aware of that, like these love languages early enough where they could communicate, like, hey, you know what? You dropped the ball on this one. And my daughter had to say, like, they're both, when I say overly affectionate, like that, my daughter's my Velcro child. Like, she's always there. So I think I didn't cuddle with her one day, and she's only 10, so she needs that. And she was like, well, I didn't feel like you loved me because you didn't cuddle with me. And I'm like, okay, I understand. Come on, so just having that open communication with them. My voice,
I think you need a sip of that wine.
Out.
Where's your wine at?
Yes,
you gotta lubricate.
Let me tell you, this weather, this up and down,
Michigan got to get it together.
It really does.
I think it's supposed to rain all week.
Yes, it's getting me.
I'm gonna get a little sip.
Well, thank you, doctor. I told you before. I was like, man, I should have some tea.
You did, Mariah Carey.
Just making sure that communication is open. That's really all I can do, and check myself, like you said. Check yourself. Check myself.
That scares me. Yeah.
Check myself,
And that's hard, like accountability to come back. Well, I've done it so long now, but I remember like in his early ages where he was able to actually like be like, hold on, mama, like have a voice. And I used to have to come back like, all right, like let's talk about this, because I didn't see that, right? Like I didn't see accountability from, if there was a disagreement with my parents, because right, with parents it's like, what I say is word. Yeah, I'm the parent.
Yeah.
Like what I say is bond, right? So having to do that, like I wasn't used to it, but like I appreciate that part of our relationship to where I've been able to come back and be like, you know what? Okay, I understand where you're coming from. I apologize. Blah blah blah. So that's been a great part of our relationship. Honestly, maybe it's our kids that have taught us the most about love.
I agree. I agree. I think it goes back to that agape love, right? Because I feel as if, regardless of how many times we bump heads, and it's me and my son, we bump heads a lot, and it's really rooted and grounded in what do you want to do with your life, well, we always get it together. We always like, okay, you know what, I could have said that better. You know what, I could have done that better. And like even this week, it was on my heart to say, okay, you know what, I'm going to change the way I'm talking, and I'm going to say, like, what is your wins for this week? Like, towards your goals. If your goal is to get to college, what did you do this week that was a win towards that goal? Is it getting your grades up? Is it passing this test? Is it making sure that, you study 20 minutes this week? Whatever it is, I just want to know your wins. We want to focus on the positivity, because I'm so focused on, like, please get it together. Please, you got to be, this person. I think that it's a lot of pressure on him.
Yeah.
And so I had to check myself. It's like something within myself, like you could change that a little bit. And that's love right there, because I'm like, I'm not giving up on him. Like I'm going to still show up every single time and still try to help him through life.
Yeah. Yeah. That's deep. So, and again, those three different kind of loves, I think for me, my son probably has taught me the most about love and more about ego for sure. Man, my ego in relationships is like, I've gotten better, but I'm sure I can do, more. But so just being able to have a gift like that and learn from a human being, another human being is truly a blessing. So Now we just got to see how to get that third type of love, right? That
well, it's supposed to just show up. Okay,
yeah, it's supposed to show, but I want to be prepared.
The doors are open.
Shay is on all social media platforms. No, but I also want to be I want to be prepared, right?
Yeah.
Like there's another quote. I don't know if it's Maya Angelou though, but it's
okay. Come through with the quotes. Y'all see? I'm like, I be prepared next time. Let me have my quotes ready.
Maybe it is and maybe it isn't, but it's like a woman's heart should be so hidden in God. Isn't it that a man has to seek God to find her, so hidden in the word?
I heard that quote.
Yeah, is it her? Maybe it's not.
I heard it. That's all I got.
Okay.
I don't know who said it, but I have heard it.
But that's deep, right? Like
no, that
is for you to be as a woman to be, or like even as just your own person to be so hidden in the word of God, like to be so enveloped in it, like that. A guy has, a man has to seek him out just to find you. Like that's the kind of love, right? I couldn't marry somebody that doesn't love God. I couldn't marry somebody that doesn't want to strive for agape love. So
I agree with you on that. I think that is important because that's just important. I can't even know no other words but say that's important for me. Yeah. Like I said, I think we talked about this before. I've dated someone who didn't have that, and I feel like I started decreasing. I want somebody whose heart is towards God, so that it's only going to help you go towards God more. So you don't want to be the person that's like reading the Bible, now this person like looking at you all sideways, and you just like, okay, I'm not comfortable.
Yeah. And listen, a man of God is so sexy. To see a man praising God in church, singing, just reading his word, right? Like that's just, I think that's one of the top tier qualities you can have. So
I agree.
Yeah.
I agree.
Yeah.
All right.
So,
well, this
bringing
is
it all back.
I know, season 2. This is how we kicking it off. So I think this episode we're gonna be honest.
Someone's a little bitter at that. No, Shay's always honest. Let me stop.
I am. But we just gonna come through with some more topics. And again, I think as we wrapped it up when we did our live episode, if there's anything that out there that resonate with you guys, definitely plug us in or comment on our social media. All of them. We on everywhere. TikTok, Instagram, Facebook. Yes. We're not on X though.
Okay, I don't even. Twitter. Okay.
Yeah, Twitter.
No, we're not.
Yeah, we will not be, but that's a different thing.
Yeah. So again, thank you for checking us out, and shout out to Tan TV as usual for giving us the platform and the opportunity to have a voice. And we hope to continue seeing all of you episode after episode after episode. Share us, like us, view us, all of that good stuff.
Interact with us, comment.